A brand new report from a major MLB insider suggests that two big name free agents left on this market in this offseason are open to short term deals. How this could impact the New York Mets is exactly what we'll be getting into right here on the True Mets Talk podcast. What's up, everyone? It's your boy CP, and welcome back to the channel. Salute to all the returning subscribers, and also welcome to any new viewers on this channel right here on the True Mets Talk pod. We are talking about the latest report from Ken Rosenthal surrounding two huge free agents left on this market, and those names are Anthony Santander and Jack Flaherty as it pertains to the New York Mets. Before we do, please do spam those like buttons on this video if you enjoy the interactive discussions that we have on a daily basis right here on the True Mets Talk podcast. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and please do, Mets fans, and even if you're not a Mets fan, comment your thoughts and opinions down below. Let's have a discussion. Okay, now I will be very transparent and upfront that before we get into this video in its entirety, there is no solidified or concrete reports out there suggesting that the Mets are in any serious talks or conversations with either of these two names. Recently, we've seen John Morosi on MLB Network talk about Anthony Santander and the potential fit with the New York Mets if they fail to reach an agreement with Pete Alonso. We've been talking about Pete Alonso a whole bunch on this channel over the last few days as those new reports have come out. But again, there's nothing imminent or serious as of yet. But the fact that Ken Rosenthal has come out with this new report suggesting that both Anthony Santander and Jack Flaherty are both open to short-term deals worth a high AAV could play right into the New York Mets' hands. Now, first, I want to start off with Anthony Santander because this is a name that I've already talked about from a statistical value standpoint on this channel. I'll actually link that video that I talked about Santander just a couple of weeks ago right in the description if anybody missed it. But I wanted to talk about him in more so of a light of a situational fit as it pertains to the New York Mets. We know what he can do with the bat. We know that he's a switch hitter, and we know what he provides any team, right? Especially his former team in the Baltimore Orioles with the glove. He's a little bit versatile in the fact that he can play multiple positions. He can play both corner outfield positions. But the fact that he has the ability and has played first base on any occasion in his career so far is a very strong attribute that the New York Mets could be looking into if things don't work out with Pete Alonso. If you're going with the best defensive lineup and with everybody at their natural positions, you're going to want to re-sign Pete Alonso and keep Mark Vientos at first base. But on the off chance that the Mets and David Stearns are not willing to budge on the AAV that Scott Boras and Pete Alonso have approached them with, Santander makes sense as an immediate backup option, playing corner outfield, potentially playing at first base on a platoon basis with Mark Vientos in that situation, and also being a very competent DH as a switch hitter. Anthony Santander does not have Pete Alonso power. Let's make that clear first and foremost. He does not. But his ability to consistently approach 30 home runs and last year as a career high, eclipse 40 plus home runs, is an immediate bat as an option B that you would want in the middle of this lineup, along with Juan Soto. So again, while we continue to prioritize the Pete Alonso discussions, let's also not lose the fact of Anthony Santander, as per Ken Rosenthal, being open to a short-term deal, which we know the Mets are trying to strike, right, in terms of an agreement with Pete Alonso. That very deal, a short-term deal. So we'll see how this plays out in the Anthony Santander market. But I really wanted to focus this episode on Jack Flaherty. We've been prioritizing offense, especially after the Sean Manaea re-signing that 3-year, $75 million deal. And we've been talking about Roki Sasaki a lot. Quite frankly, I was very adamant that it was a long shot that the Mets could land Roki Sasaki. And it's looking, with everything that we've been hearing so far in the reports, that it is still a very long shot. He is destined to be a Dodger, and we will figure out where his next team is going to be at the major league level probably within the next 4 to 5 days, as this January 15th, not deadline, but that start date is approaching for Roki Sasaki and his impending decision. But we haven't been talking about any further starting pitchers. So let's take a look at Jack Flaherty's numbers at a glance from this past season. Now, this was his second really full season, I should say, back to back, because he has been fighting an injury bug throughout his career. In 2023, the numbers were not pretty, but he posted north of 140 innings. And then to complement that, in 2024, with a lot better values across the board, he posted 162 innings pitched flat. 3.17 ERA, a whip that was approaching 1.00, just above that at 1.07, a walk percentage that was at 5.9, just over 4 percentage points lower than the walk percentage that he posted in 2023. So the command and the control of his full arsenal was on display in the entirety of the 2024 season. Now, again, one could assume if he's willing to opt into a short-term deal, maybe teams around the league are weary that 2024 was a one-off year for Jack Flaherty. Can he do it again? And if this report is true, and I would take Jack Flaherty on a short-term deal, betting on himself to have a 2024 replication type year all day long, especially given the question marks that we've been talking about surrounding this Mets rotation even after the Sean Manaea re-signing. You talk about a potential 6-man rotation of Senga, Manaea, Peterson, Montas, Clay Holmes, and a 6th starter that's up in the air. If you're able to add a Jack Flaherty type pitcher in this market, yes, he's not Roki Sasaki. He's not Corbin Burns, who went to Arizona. Understood. But still, being able to shift everybody else down a spot and really putting a much better 6-man rotation out there with Jack Flaherty's name in it rather than not in it is a win. Is definitely a win. Now, Spotrac has him valued at 3 years, $63.1 million, right? That's a quote-unquote short-term deal, but I really think we're still talking about a potential 1-year deal for Jack Flaherty, like what Walker Buehler just got from the Boston Red Sox. Now, I don't think it's going to be $21 million like Walker Buehler got, because he didn't really have a great regular season in 2024 the way that Jack Flaherty did. I think we're talking about maybe 25, 26 million for 1 year of Jack Flaherty. And again, if that's the case, if that's what you have to do for the New York Mets to get a frontline starter for the 2025 season, you got to do it at this point. Because if you don't do it, you are expected to get at least 2 upper echelon tier of arms in the bullpen to try to solidify your bullpen and move that into the elite category to reduce any question marks or growing pains that you're going to experience with a lackluster rotation, with the way that it's currently set up right now. So again, I don't think it's going to be 3 years for Jack Flaherty. If it's not a straight up 1-year deal, we're probably looking at a Sean Manaea-esque type of contract, 2 years with an opt-out after the first year, so Flaherty can go back onto the market at age 29. But at the end of the day, there hasn't been anything confirmed. There's nothing concrete. And this is how the Mets operate. They're very low-key until they're not. So Mets fans, let me know down in the comments section what you think about these 2 names for the New York Mets as it pertains to the rest of the offseason. We are going live this afternoon on the Mets Hot Stove Live. I am positive we'll be talking about these 2 names as it pertains to this report. As always, smash those thumbs up buttons on this video. Subscribe to the channel. It's your boy CP. I'll see you on the next stream or video. Peace.